Alright, YouTube. I'd like to remake the Society is Bullshit video. I took it down some time ago, but I still hold the same views. That society is completely ass backwards, is complete and utter bullshit. The way in which it functions, the way in which people act within society. And it doesn't matter what society it is. People in the West look at, Afghanistan or something and say how ass backwards those people are. They make women cover up their heads and stuff. You do the same thing in the West. There's still a bunch of stupid stereotypes that people use. Gender stereotypes. Well, it's not okay to be gay. That girl's a slut. That dude's ugly. This person must do X, Y, and Z because they're black or white or, whatever color they happen to be. It's just complete and utter bullshit. The thing is, and Nirvana said it best, they'll give you breathing holes so you'll think you're happy. That's very true. The people go to work. Here's the average person in the United States. Well, I've got my 1/8 acre lot in the suburbs. I've got my white picket fence and my 2-car garage and my 2 kids, and I'm so fucking happy. And I used to rebel against the man, and I used to use lots of drugs, but I don't do that anymore. I go to work 9 to 5 and make $40K a year. Look how happy I am. I mow my lawn, and I sit up there with a huge shit-eating grin on my face and destroy the environment in the meantime because I'm leaching all the nutrients out of my soil by bagging my shit up and putting it in the dump. I don't know how to raise my own food. I think that vegetables come from the grocery store and that's their natural habitat. In an apocalyptic situation, these idiots would be completely lost. They'd be the sort of baggage that those of us who actually know how to do anything realistic would have to take care of and or execute. No, I'm not going to pull your ass. If the West collapsed right now, and all these people were starving in the streets, and they showed up and they said, well, you've got food because you're actually smart enough to grow it, I would shoot them in the fucking head. They're not even worth existing. These people are absolutely fucking worthless. The worst thing of all, and this is from my perspective, the worst part of all is seeing formerly rebellious kids from my own generation, and even from the generation now that's a level younger, the people that are in their, mid to late teens now, the worst thing is seeing these people follow exactly in the footsteps of their parents because they used to, hate God and the church, and they used to experiment with drugs and do all these wonderful things that people should do, and then they give it all up and they say, well, I'm going to go get a job at Starbucks because I want money. Well, what the fuck does money give you? Money will keep you fed. You could also move out in the woods and grow your own food if it wasn't fucking illegal. But I just don't understand. These people actually will smile telling you how happy they are. Their lives completely suck. They work 8 to 10 hours a day, 5 days a week. They barely get to see their family. And then they get home on the weekend, they finally have some free time. What do? I've got to mow my lawn so that the local homeowners association doesn't kick me out. I've got to fertilize my lawn with chemicals, and then I've got to cut it again because it grew too quickly. These people are fucked up in the head beyond belief. And this is, of course, a video about Western society. The East is just as fucked up as the West. You got starving people in India who won't eat the cows that are running around in their street. It's completely ridiculous. These people practically deserve to die. They're living a life that's completely out of tune with nature. It's completely artificial, and they wonder why they have a headache when they try to have sex. They can't even get it up anymore because some of them, they've used too much coke back in their yuppie days because most of these people are stupid Reagan youths who thought, oh, well, it's swell to be off drugs now. Those 70s were a terrible time. The 60s were even worse. There were liberals, and they were experimenting with homosexuality and drugs and equal rights. These things are terrible. And these people are even more stupid. because they let the stupid politicians, who, by the way, are the same scum that the general population is made of, these were people, by and large, who were popular and or rich and or had connections to begin with, who got into politics, and every single one of them is dishonest. And the people will vote, they say, oh, I'm going to vote for Romney, I'm going to vote for Obama or whatever. They don't even care about the issues, they just care about the letter after the name. They're not even intelligent enough to actually listen to what the candidates are saying. And they go to church and they tell their children, just praise Jesus and maybe you'll win the lottery. Jesus doesn't care if you win the lottery. Jesus is dead. He's a dusty skeleton. He may be even literally a pile of dust at this point, because his skeleton would be, blown around in the sand dunes for so long, or may have gotten turned into a sword hilt and chess pieces by the Romans. Society is complete bullshit. You look at the way the world is going. You've got all these countries, and they raise their militaries, and they raise their taxes, and they tell their people what to do, and they censor the population, and they won't let them do anything fun. They won't let them do anything that makes sense, that's actually real. And then they send all the kids off to war, but not the rich people's kids, because then the rich people won't fund their re-election campaign. So they'll put them in the National Guard or something, or make them a commander from afar, put them on a boat 10 miles away from the war zone, so that all the other kids can get killed, and then they can say, well, look at these fine young patriots. No, they're a bunch of pinheads. They should have never joined in any country where there isn't a draft. They should never have joined the military, because it's just completely useless. And if there is a draft, they should have, they should rise up and kill their commander, go completely berserk, and then run through the streets and kill their leaders too when they want to go to war. But they're not willing to do that, and it sucks to see all the people from my generation slowly, get married and go after the white picket fence themselves and worry about their student debt. No, you should be having random sex right now. You should be using drugs right now. You should be going crazy right now. That's the proper thing to do. And there are still a handful of societies that are intelligent enough to understand this. But people in the West especially, they're so concerned with the new car, the new house. I just got $1,000 on a scratch-off ticket. What will I do with this? I think I'll buy more scratch-off tickets. They're brain dead. I wish they'd kill themselves. And the worst thing is, these are the people who create the society that people who actually think freely and act freely have to live in. These are the people that are despised universally by everyone who thinks, and yet we allow them to govern our society. And we allow them to make the rules. We allow them to say, well, it's one nation under God. Well, where the hell is God? When your child is starving, when your child dies of some illness, where's your God now? You just lost everything. Your home burned down. Your wife left you. Your car got totaled. You're up into your eyeballs in debt. You're going to fucking prison. Where's God? God's sitting back and whacking off his meat and laughing merrily at you because you were stupid to begin with, and you're even more stupid now for thinking that God cares. That's where God is. And these people will look to their society for moral support. Well, maybe my friends will help me. No, your friends are too busy doing the same thing you were too busy doing. Going after their own monetary benefit. They want the picket fence too. And here's the ultimate kicker. The white picket fence two-car garage people hate the ghetto people, all the minorities living in inner city slums, and vice versa. The ghetto people hate the suburbanites, but they're both screwing over the planet. And people don't realize that at some point the planet is going to snap and you are all going to starve. That's going to happen. When it happens, most of the people on Earth will die, because first you'll have people starving. And when people start starving, they get diseases. So then you have various epidemics, and you no longer have the money or the resources to fight the epidemics, so you have a massive die-off. What do you think would happen if New York City lost half of its population to Ebola or some crazed disease like that? It would collapse the entire economy of the state of New York. They'd take them 100 years to rebuild. People don't seem to understand that. And yet they've let themselves be sort of lulled into this complacent lie that they can continue living the way that they're living, exploiting natural resources at whim, and the politicians feed this into them to get votes. They say, oh, well, we've got plenty of oil, we've got plenty of coal, don't worry, the globe's not warming, we're not running out of fuel, don't worry, USA number one, our military can take on any other military, it doesn't matter what the Chinese do. It would be funny if we ended up being owned by the Chinese because of our debt. Not that that's going to happen. I mean, that would be, very far down the line. But the society that they've built is bullshit to begin with. You've got this idea of the Protestant work ethic. Well, if I just work harder, I'll be rich. You're not going to get rich working harder. Unless you're literally exceptionally intelligent, you're not going to get anywhere in life. You will continue making that substandard wage. You will continue thinking that you are happy with your five-room home. You will continue to think that you're happy with your $10,000 used car. You will continue to think you're happy that when you retire, you can retire on a pension just big enough so that you don't have to eat the cat food every day for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And you'll think you're very, very, very happy. But in reality, you're very, very, very stupid. And that's exactly what the people in power count on you being. Because the church fools you, the media fools you, and the government fools you. You're a fool. You've been fooled by everybody that's above you in their stations in life. But you're so complacent you don't care. Well, I have sex once a week when I can get it up. What a wonderful life you lead. It's stupid. These people are morons. And the fact that they're the ones that built this society is just terrible. It's a good thing that the founders, now I'll give the founders credit, they did a great job making a constitution and being rational, logical, deist individuals who hated organized religion. They did a great job. The problem is every single generation since them has tried to destroy what the founders created. And they're still doing it to this day, and they've had some measure of success in doing so. That's the problem with society. We've lost the revolutionary fervor to the point where people now, they're willing to give up their guns. They're willing to get a permit to be able to protest. They're willing to get a permit to be able to march to the streets. They're willing to let the government censor what they say in the press, and what they say in person, and what they say online. They're willing to let the government squash the minds of their children so that their children can't even think straight. What happened to childlike innocence? Well, you're not going to get many Isaac Newtons and Albert Einsteins anymore. The system is just crushing these sort of people out. And that's the truth. And the truth is this. Society is complete, utter nonsense and bullshit.